For this week's Sports Star Spotlight, we're headed to Atlanta for one of the country's best prospects at tight end. If you spend some time on the campus at the Westminster Schools, you may feel like you're at a small college. But it's a K-12 school that prides itself on its rigorous academics, and its athletics are pretty good too.
Westminster is probably the top academic school in the Southeast and one of the top 10 academic schools in the country. The education that these kids get is amazing, but we've also been able to be very successful in all of our sports here as well.
Holden Staes fits right in on this campus. He's been here since the 6th grade. The son of 2 lawyers, he knows he has to meet certain standards in the classroom before he can get on the football field.
In our house, academics is pretty important, so me just, taking that seriously is just kind of natural. It's not something that's, forced upon me just because it's what's expected in my house.
The same thing, my parents instilled in me, what my in-laws instilled in my husband is that stay humble and work hard. I think that we've all been blessed with a lot of privileges, and that comes with great responsibility. They're in a competitive academic environment. We have certain goals, and if they can meet those, they can play.
Fortunately, Holden has always done well with his grades, and he's put that same work ethic into football. And that's been a good thing for Westminster. Coach Jerry Romberg rarely lets freshmen play on the varsity team, but Holden was one exception.
We typically don't bring 9th graders up to the varsity unless they're physically ready to compete and also be able to handle their academic responsibilities. We checked in and made sure and felt very comfortable that Holden could do that. What I've noticed is just his development from 9th grade to where he is now. The work he has put in is unbelievable, and it's kind of interesting that we're sitting in the weight room because as a football coach, more so than other sports, kids have to put time in the weight room to have a chance to be successful. The amount of time that he has put in over the last 3 years is just his willingness and desire to be the best he can be.
Now standing 6 feet 5 inches tall and weighing 230 pounds, Holden has all the attributes you see in great tight ends. He's physical, has soft hands, and he's able to rise above defenders to make big plays.
I think as a tight end, I'm very versatile. I think with my background playing basketball, I try to take that to the football field and use my quickness and how you go for a rebound in basketball to do that, going for 50-50 balls in football. So I think I'm a very difficult matchup, especially like in the slot, going against linebackers, using my speed to get past them.
He's just taking it to another level. And he's like that prototype tight end that schools are looking for because of his height and his strength and his athleticism. A lot of teams are splitting that tight end out and making it a mismatch for defensive backs.
Holden committed to Notre Dame because he loved its history of NFL tight ends, but also because it reminded him of Westminster with its academic and athletic balance.
Ultimately, I chose Notre Dame because it kind of secretly always been one of my dream schools. But, I didn't want to let that be the determining factor for me picking that school. Once I began being recruited by them, what stood out to me is just the tradition they have at the tight end position. For the past 11 years, the starting tight end has been drafted into the NFL. So that was definitely something that stood out to me for sure. And then when you mix the combination of how successful the football program has been recently with the academics that Notre Dame provides and what the Notre Dame degree can do for you once, football's over with, those are kind of the biggest things for me that ultimately led to that decision.
What we're excited about with Notre Dame is that it's top academics and top football. We think it's the best combination in terms of, great national programs. We think Notre Dame really embodies that. But we've told him, go for it all. He's young, he's smart, he's ambitious. If you work for it, you deserve it. So we want him to go for it.
Irish fans should know that they're not only getting another dynamic athlete for their offense, but also a humble leader who wants to reach the highest level.
The dream is to, go to Notre Dame, win a national championship, be the best tight end I can be there, become a first-round draft pick and have a 10-plus year successful career in the NFL, and then, get on TV and talk more about football.
He's very humble. He's very kind-hearted. He's certainly a leader here on this campus.
And one thing that's interesting, and you'll see a lot of kids when they're getting recruited and they're getting, all these coaches talking to them and they're going on these college visits, they can, get a big head and they can, think they're bigger than the team. Never one time have I noticed that with him. The team always comes first. His teammates always come first. When he's in here, when we're on the field, he's one of the guys. And that's what I love about him the most. The leadership has become very apparent. I think that's also going to help him as he moves forward.
Thanks for checking out Sports Stars of Tomorrow on YouTube. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a like and please subscribe to our channel so you see all of the latest content.